So Sydney right now is flooding, and I'll tell you what else is flooding: Nintendo with so many different anniversaries, and I'm sure everyone is well aware of one of them because we have been trying and waiting to celebrate that one the entire year. Before we do begin, if you haven't already, consider subscribing. It is down below for you. Hit that like button as well, and comment down below which anniversaries you would love to see or most likely to see. And obviously, the very first one that we're going to talk about is the Zelda 35th anniversary, and that is just one of many anniversaries that Nintendo does have to celebrate this year, which is pretty epic if you think about it. But there are a few. Now that's the obvious one. I wanted to get that one out of the way in the beginning of this video, mostly because everyone knows the Zelda 35th anniversary is happening this year. We've already basically got confirmation that Nintendo will be doing something to celebrate this because of Skyward Sword HD. That is a clue that they're probably going to be doing a lot more for this year. But let's look at a couple other anniversaries that are going to be happening. Well, they're probably not going to be celebrated in the way that they should be this year, but there are more anniversaries that Nintendo does have this year that I'm hoping at least a couple of them get some sort of recognition. Now, the first one we're going to think about is Animal Crossing is currently experiencing its 20th anniversary, and obviously we're not going to get anything new because New Horizons came out last year, so they're probably not going to do too much to really celebrate that 20th anniversary this year. But it is still crazy to think that Animal Crossing started 20 years ago, and that series is still flourishing. Nintendo does great things, and I know last year obviously that was one of their best sellers for the Switch, which is epic if you think about it, because Animal Crossing is one of those games where I feel like people, you'll enjoy it if you really give it a go. I wasn't one of those people that really enjoyed that game. I didn't like the promo. Obviously, I don't have a Switch, haven't played the game, but it didn't really appeal to me personally as a game that I would play. But it is definitely one of those anniversaries that I think we should pay attention to. Another game that has an anniversary this year is Pikmin, and that came out 20 years ago as well, with the same year as Animal Crossing, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, we're not going to get something too crazy considering we got Pikmin 3 Deluxe, I believe. That was last year that we got that. So, we don't really get the chance to really celebrate Pikmin's anniversary this year, which is probably a good thing considering that the Deluxe Edition did come out, and I'm sure it sold well enough for them to really enjoy the fact that they moved it from the Wii U onto the Switch in a Deluxe Edition. Obviously, they were it seemed like last year they were scurrying just to get stuff out, and that was one of the games that we got later in the year when everyone was really concerned that we were not going to get much stuff for Nintendo or from Nintendo or for the Switch. But they brought that through, and obviously 20 years later now is the Pikmin anniversary. So if you haven't got Pikmin 3 Deluxe, this is your chance to get that game to celebrate the 20-year anniversary. Obviously, that's not something Nintendo is going to celebrate this year, but it is something that you can celebrate with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Another game that is, celebrating an anniversary is the Yoshi series, the 30th anniversary of the Yoshi series, and I don't think that they're going to release again anything because Woolly World came out in 2019. That's 2 years ago, so they're not really going to do anything for the 30th anniversary. And to be fair with you, those last few anniversaries are things that Nintendo don't necessarily celebrate usually. They generally do their 35th, 25th, those kind of things, and make those large and make those big and make those epic, and that's what they've been doing. They did that with Mario, and I'm sure they're going to do that with Zelda. So there's another thing to think about, but that's another game I really don't think that they're going to give too much recognition to. I feel like maybe they'll give us glimpses of things for at least the Yoshi games and the Yoshi series, but I don't think that they're really going to do too much for that series, even though that is another one of the anniversaries that is a bigger anniversary for Nintendo, which is crazy. If you think about it, Nintendo has been going at this for ages, and they're still going strong with these series. Are really these series are still going strong, and it's something that, should be mentioned and should be basically at least given some sort of representation is the word I'm looking for, because these are series that are loved by fans, and I'm sure that it's pretty crazy. Anyways, the next one, actually when I say the next one, I mean the next few. There are 3 extra series down the bottom of my list here for anniversaries that are the larger ones that I think that Nintendo, it would be great if they actually did show something for, even if it's not something big like a brand new game. I think that they definitely need some recognition, and the first one obviously should be considered to be Donkey Kong for the 40th anniversary. I know Tropical Freeze came out in 2014 for the Wii U, and then it was removed to the Switch and ported across obviously in 2018. So Tropical Freeze is one of those games that we did get. That is now 3 years old. And to be fair with you, that's what, 6-7 years old now. Tropical Freeze 2014 to 2021. I think if they haven't already, they should definitely be putting something else into development for Donkey Kong. It's a franchise that I think of late has definitely been getting, rejected. Neglected is the word I'm looking for. But it definitely has been getting neglected, and I'm sure there are a lot of Donkey Kong fans out there. I'm sure that Nintendo could do something even in the way of, say, the Mario 35th anniversary. Just give us some of the classic games, redo them, maybe. I'm just saying that's a possibility. Donkey Kong Country, the series could be, although it is on the online service. So it's one of those scenarios where I feel like Donkey Kong isn't getting a lot of love. What they're going to do for that series and what they could do is massive. I hope that they do something incredible for Donkey Kong. Time will tell, I guess. And the other two series, obviously, Kid Icarus is another one that's experiencing his 35th anniversary. And the last game we got for Kid Icarus was Uprising, and that was on the 3DS, and that was well received. People loved that game a lot. So if you haven't played Uprising, if you haven't got a 3DS, and if you haven't had the chance to experience that game, I would definitely recommend that you try it out. It looks amazing. I have it in my collection, which is right there. I have not played that game just yet. I'm going through this collection, but it does look incredible, and it boasts something of a great reputation. So again, the 3DS Kid Icarus Uprising is one of those games that you could definitely try and people have loved, so maybe that's for you. Otherwise, the 35th anniversary of Kid Icarus is one of those things that's huge, and I think that Nintendo should definitely give, again, this game some recognition, this series some recognition, because the Kid Icarus game was so well received. I think that this definitely deserves something that we should be seeing somewhere along the line. Hopefully, they'll do something to really rejuvenate that series, and obviously, lucky last is the Metroid 35th anniversary, and I know everyone is really putting their attention onto Zelda's 35th anniversary because we know that Nintendo's going to do something crazy for Zelda. You gotta guarantee this now. Zelda has been building steam for the last 35 years, and thanks to Breath of the Wild, that game has been phenomenally received. It's going well, and I'm sure that it is going to soar. Skyward Sword HD, by the way, is proof that Zelda is doing something right and doing something well, especially with Breath of the Wild, considering there were a lot of people that were annoyed with the fact that it's going to be at a $60 price point, but then it still sold really well on Amazon, and this is just pre-sales, by the way. So that tells me that the 35th anniversary for Zelda is going to go crazy. Metroid, on the other hand, has a lot of speculation around it. People obviously know that Prime 4 is in development, on the way, something, somewhere, who knows, but let's hope that Metroid Prime 35th anniversary does get something. Me personally, I'm hoping that they do a Prime Trilogy remaster as something that, people can really get into, especially if you haven't played the first 3 Metroid Prime games and you don't want to go back to either GameCube to play the very first, I think the first 2, or play it on the Wii and you have to buy the trilogy, and that in Australia is going for $160. So if they were to re-release that on the Switch, that would already bring that price down on the Wii, but at the same time, that would make it a worthwhile investment for people who either haven't played the trilogy or just want an excuse to really play it again before Metroid Prime 4 comes out. I'm sure that Nintendo was going to make a big deal about Prime 4 coming out at some point. It's going to be epic. It's going to be crazy, and again, I don't want to waste your time. These are just some of the anniversaries. I'm sure there are other anniversaries, so if there's something that I've missed, maybe your favorite franchise, your favorite game or game series from Nintendo, don't hesitate to let me know in that comment section down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. This video was a little bit longer than I expected it to be, but Nintendo's got a lot going on and it's pretty crazy, and I think that they can do so much this year depending on what they choose to do, because obviously they don't want to bleed your wallets and have you not try and buy everything that they put out. So the question is, what is Nintendo going to do? What are they going to celebrate, and how are they going to celebrate it? Obviously, Zelda 35 is one of the bigger things that we're looking for this year. What else is coming? That's a question that I leave to you. What do you think Nintendo is going to do? Let me know in that comment section down below. I will see you in the next video. Bye.